Hi everyone, this is Ghalib, and you're watching me live on YouTube. This video is going to this live stream is happening on both channels, but it is going to be in English because Armin cannot speak Hindi or Urdu, so you guys would have to listen to this in English today. Hi Armin, I'd like to welcome you on my YouTube channel, and I know people know about you. People follow you. I also follow you. They already know you, most of my audience, and how are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Okay, so Armin, let me tell you guys that Armin is an activist. He's a human right activist. He's also a critique of dogmatic religion. He's an atheist, and he runs Atheist Republic, the infamous Atheist Republic that is that is famous for a lot for what you would say offending many religious people. He has offended Muslims most of the times, but recently Hindus has also become offended because of him. And I don't know how he has offended Christians as well, because I think he would have something to tell them as well. So, Armin, what's happening and how are you doing right now? How are the things going?
I'm good. I'm good. We have been under attacked by two governments so far. One Islamic
Yeah.
and one Hindu. We're trying.
Okay.
We're just trying to find a way to just create a set by finding a Christian country to go against us, but it's hard. It's hard. It's not that easy. We're trying. We're trying, but it's not as easy. But so far, the Malaysian government has taken a aggressive stance against Atheist Republic, announcing the deputy minister announcing that they need to hunt down our members.
Okay.
Malaysian people asking for my beheading, and
Okay.
in their parliament asking if they could block the entirety of Facebook because of our Facebook page. Like, this was a serious question in on their bio, on video, was recorded, which is amazing by their politicians. So that was Malaysia. India managed to.
India, yeah.
By the way, yeah, Pakistan just blocked our Facebook page and our website silently. Like, they didn't
Yeah.
even raise anything
Yeah,
about
that's
us.
what
We
they
just
do.
got just blocked there. But India did a mix of both Pakistan and Malaysia, right?
Uh-huh.
So India managed to reach out to Facebook and block our Facebook page in India and block our website in India. So this was a government request from Facebook, and our website. Not all of India. Certain ISPs got notices from the government to block our website in India. Um, but our Atheist Republic Facebook page has been blocked in all of India. My personal India's government specifically also requested that my personal account, not our Facebook page, my personal account was also blocked in India. All my Indian friends can't even message me anymore. I might be the first individual, not a page, that has been blocked in India
Yeah.
by government request. Our case, our blasphemy case, was brought up in India's Supreme Court, the highest
Yeah,
court
yeah,
of the
I know.
land.
Yeah, yeah,
And unbelievable. Like, over all of it, over drawing a Hindu goddess. Like, chill out, guys. Like, the Supreme Court over a drawing of a cartoon. Like, me and Susanna have so many police reports, FIRs written against us, filed against us in India, and we're not even Indian, and we're not even
yeah, yeah,
there,
yeah,
and they're
yeah,
like filing police reports against us, like,
yeah.
over a drawing of a goddess, not even a person, not even a real person. And so it's amazing. It's
But
amazing
I
because
mean,
yeah, go
were
on.
you surprised at what happened? The kind of backlash you got on Twitter?
I
Were you
was like,
surprised?
what a bunch of crybabies.
Yeah,
I go like, who raised you? Like, oh my god, relax. But honestly, I can't complain, because with all the things that happened, all the reaction, it backfired on them. One, because a lot of people realize that Hinduism is not a peaceful
yeah,
religion. Like, and
yeah.
and these like this is like, so many people were shocked. I think like
Hmm.
decades worth of whitewashing Hinduism as this religion that is not like Abrahamic religions was like washed away in 1 month. Like this went on Hinduism record, and a lot of people, a lot of atheist activists who used to be not that aggressive against Hinduism because they thought, oh, it's just an Eastern
Yeah, yeah,
religion, it's fine. Now all of a sudden, that is not the case anymore. People are like not making excuses for Hinduism anymore. So that's one thing that happened. Second of all, a lot of people in India found us because of this. So they think that they reduce our access to India because of the block on our Facebook page. But actually, a lot more people found us because of this whole mess that they,
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
atheists and secularists, and even Hindus who support us, and even Hindutva who supports us. Like we have patrons that are donating to us, and they are self-proclaiming Hindutva. So because of their actions, we actually have supporters in India. So thanks to that, our patronage just grew. Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it got 4 times what we had. So that was amazing. Another thing that happened because of all this reaction is that atheism trended in India for the first time.
For the first
So
time.
for the first time. So you guys, like, again, these religious people, they always play themselves. They always think like they're defending their religion, and in the process of defending their religion, they humiliate their own religion, and they make atheism and secular activism like they just do our job for us. Like we just drew a cartoon, and you did like you've destroyed your own religion beyond what we could ever imagine. All right. By the way, you wanted to eventually talk about what's happening in Iran. This is exactly what's happening in Iran as well. Like when it comes to religion following, is atheists and secular activists, they should not get much of the credit for why religion is under decline. It's mostly religious people. We just like go like boop, and they're like boom, and they go like, and they're not boom literally boom, but like just the reactions boom. Okay, but and then they just do like 99% of the work, and we just have to be like, look what's that. That's all we have to do, right? So it's amazing. It's amazing. By the way, you got a super
Yeah.
chat. You wanna...
Yeah, yeah. So Amit Tiwari is saying, Amit is a friend. He's an atheist, and he's an ex-Hindu atheist. Hello, Ghalib bhai. Hello, Armin. Keep up the good work, both of you. Huge salute from India to Armin. You are an inspiration for us rationalists. So
Oh,
yeah,
you guys, yeah. I
yeah,
also, I have to make sure something is always clear. Okay, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm anti-India for some reason because of all of this stuff happened. Okay, I am extremely pro-India. And I'm also, with all the things that happen, I am still very optimistic about not the short-term future of India. I'm actually not very optimistic about short-term future of India, but I'm very optimistic about the long-term future of India. The younger generations, if you relative to the older generation, their views are very, very liberal and very, very secular. So if these are the people who are going to be replacing the old politicians, right, in India at some point, like I can't imagine India not when it comes to human rights, when it comes to secularism. Like if you look at the views of the younger generation, I know there's still a lot of them that are religious, but relative to the older generation, it's just like night and day. So I'm actually, for the longer term, I'm very, very optimistic about India. I also want to say, not only we're not anti-India, we salute, and we are so proud of the work that the atheists and secular activists are doing in India and also in other countries. These are the people. India is the world's largest democracy, and it's also the world's largest secular democracy. And for this secularism to be challenged so in such a way by Hindutva and by the BJP is a threat not just to India, but it's a threat to the world. Like this,
yeah, exactly.
when you're looking at the rise of far right. Like when they talk about the rise of far right, they think, for some reason, think about North America or Western Europe. If you want to really highlight the rise of the far right, it's Hindutva in India. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
and I see that I say always the three main threats to the planet right now is the BJP, the CCP, and the GOP. Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
these are the three biggest political
yeah, yeah.
forces on the planet, and they are all a threat to the planet, right? Um, and I'm just literally mean the planet, not like I'm not like exaggerating, right? And if anybody cares about human rights, secularism, um, and these are the main forces that you need to be against, right? I mean, people. It's so interesting because like changes in India, it gets less coverage sometimes than something that happens in Denmark, even though more people, like, the effect of the policies in India, given the population of India, has much astronomically higher impact on the number of people. Like, how could anybody not take India's politics and the threat to secularism seriously, given how many people will be impacted by it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you would want to show some blasphemous art that you guys have
Oh
been
yeah.
making, because
So
that's one of the things that a lot of people are talking about also, and what kind of reaction you are getting. So should I share your screen?
well, before you share it, let me
Yeah,
just
yeah,
tell
yeah.
everybody that the first
And
art that we
importance of
made.
blasphemy. And I would also like you to emphasize on the importance of blasphemy as a
Yes, okay.
human right.
Yeah. So the first art that we made was our own. Like, we started with sharing someone else's art, which was a Cali, and that got such a huge backlash that we decided to make our own Atheist Republic art,
Mhm.
and that was Sexy Cali. So we made the Hindu goddess Kali. That was about 1 year ago, September 3rd, 2020. So for 1 year, on September 3rd, 2021, we decided to celebrate the 1 year anniversary. And I think what you're about to show is what we drew for the 1 year anniversary of Sexy Cali, right? All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah. This is Callie's first anniversary, and that's why she's celebrating it with a cake. Oh, by the way, all of our art is on blasphemousart.com. By the way, guys, if you guys want to go see it, and if you want to see the uncensored version, you could click on that red button to see the uncensored version. It's available to our patrons. The censored versions is available for free on the website, but that's that's the uncensored version. Here you get the. But so this was Callie, and if you notice, is that we were careful enough not to write her name in Sanskrit, right? This is in
Hmm.
Bengali,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Because Kali is a Bengali goddess. So we
Hmm.
wanted to make sure that we write her name. We always, every time we depict Kali, we make sure that we depict her name correctly in Bengali, not in Sanskrit. Do you want to see? Okay, so you got another
Yeah,
super
yeah.
chat. Do you want to read that?
Yeah. So Amit is saying Ghalib is a torchbearer of rational movement in India, Pakistan. We love you, Ghalib. We will never let you go stand alone. Friends, please support Ghalib and Ghalib Kamal and Armin Navabi. Thank you, Amit.
Ah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have such
yeah,
great fans. That's beautiful. That's
yeah, yeah.
fantastic. Okay, by the way, guys, the reason why we have continued making this art, we have art every single week. Every single week we're making new art. That the reason why we get, and these are expensive to make, right?
Yeah.
We have like a really good artist that we pay to make these, and it's not cheap to make this art and to make it every single week. This is like very detailed, beautiful art.
Yeah.
So the reason why we get to keep making blasphemous art like this is because of how much support we're getting, including a lot of support from India. And then we can afford making art like this and just normalizing being blasphemous. Do you want to see some of the other arts
Yeah.
that
Sure,
we make?
sure, sure, sure.
This is the Japanese goddess, but let me go to the one. This is another Hindu one with
Rukmini.
Rukmini and
Rukmini and
Radha.
Radha. Mhm.
Yeah, this is Jinn and a hijabi woman, an Islamic
Okay.
one. Oh, let me actually show you some. Oh, this is like the Quranic lesbian arousal. So this woman, in order to be able to get closer to God, she only reads the Quran when she's being sexually aroused, right? And let me see what else.
We also want to see our favorite guy,
Which one?
Muhammad.
Oh, you wanted Muhammad. We have Muhammad as well. So this is more, the hijabi ones are very popular. So we're making a
Yeah,
lot of hijabi
yeah.
art.
Yeah, and I think most of the Muslims are watching the hijabi ones.
Yeah, I think it's true. I think that's why I think we actually have some Muslim fans because of these hijabi art now. Also, all of our art
Yeah.
has like an Atheist Republic tattoo. By the way, guys, these are the censored versions. So the uncensored version is again on blasphemousart.com. This is basically what I'm showing you is the blasphemousart.com website. This is a Christian one with a demon and a nun.
Mhm.
And the explanation. Oh, there we go. Here is the
Our
um
favorite guy.
yeah, two favorite guys, Muhammad and Rama.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Muhammad,
yeah.
Hindu witchery. So each one of the art has explanation. So this one's explanation is saying, ever since the Prophet Muhammad was introduced to Hinduism through his lover Lord Rama, he couldn't help but notice the more pronounced emphasis on bodily enjoyment, something severely lacking the Quran sent down to him from Allah. He felt the need to show Lord Rama his gratitude for this lesson in love and lust, a gift that Allah could never give him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's there. And uh, do you want to show
yeah.
some Jesus? Is where is Jesus?
We do
I
have
don't want to
Jesus. Okay,
miss
well,
on him.
this
Yeah.
is
This is again
Muhammad.
Muhammad. Yeah,
Muhammad doing love jihad with
with
Tulsi.
Tulsi.
Tulsi, love jihad. Yeah. So let me actually go until we get to a Jesus one. This is I already showed you this one. I already showed you this one. This let go of page 4. You see, I have 16 pages of this. We have been so thanks. By the way, thanks to Handutva for making all of this possible. We're
Yeah,
making art like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
This is lesbians at the Kaaba. This is another Muhammad and Rama. Each one of the no, this is in Jerusalem. This is a Jewish woman and a Muslim Palestinian. This is again. Oh, this is Kali and Muhammad.
Okay.
Uh, wait, we'll get. I'll get you to the Jesus one. I know you're ex-Christian, so you want to see. This is Japanese mythology. Oh, there we go. There's Jesus. Okay,
Yeah. So
this is
Jesus and
yeah,
Jesus and
Jesus and
his
a Roman
secret
son.
lover.
Jesus
Yeah.
is Jesus is secret lover. All right, so this
Okay.
art was supposed to portray the fact that that Christianity originally was just a Jewish cult,
Uh-huh.
but then it turned into something else when it became mainstream in Rome, right? And the
Mhm.
Romans added so much to the original Jewish mythology, Jewish cult that was not you can't find in the original cult. Like it was basically the duality. Oh, so here's actually the explanation, right? So the explanation is before his crucifixion, Jesus was subjected to flagellation by Roman soldiers. As one of the soldiers beat Jesus, he fell in love with the Savior of man. Later at night, the soldier was discovered with Jesus, and thus they were sentenced to crucifixion together. So we changed the story a little bit. So instead of Jesus being crucified, he was crucified with the person that was sleeping with him the night before, right? So it's a dual crucifixion.
Jesus has very good abs here.
He also
Christians
has
don't.
something. He also has something else very good. If you could see behind the sensor, it's like
Okay.
it's not just the apps.
Okay.
Okay, but then it continues explaining this artwork symbolizes the duality of Christianity. What we recognize as Christianity today is different from the exclusively Jewish cult of its origins. Contemporary
Hmm.
Christianity is more reflective of a later Roman invention.
Hmm.
So each one of these arts. Oh, by the way, this explanation of this art is very interesting. Like it says a lesbian prayer to Allah, right? So this is inside a mosque. So the explanation for this one is pretty cool. It says most people don't know that the real reason why women have their own separate private sections in mosque is that the female version of Islamic prayer often involves lesbian lovemaking.
My God. Yeah.
So it's funny because we posted this as an explanation for why we have this in art, and so many people were saying is asking, is that actually true? Like I can't believe how dumb people are. People are asking us if this is actually true. Like
Yeah. I
if
was
if
also
this,
going to ask you the same. I was gonna ask you,
like
like,
people were
is it
saying,
really true? Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's amazing. That's funny. Okay,
So,
yeah, I
Armin,
mean, go ahead.
what has been the reaction of this? What is being when people see this? Are they shocked? And what happens to their mind when they see this?
Well, the goal is for them not to get shocked. Like you can see already after 1 year, the shock has been reduced. See, like we promised people that if we keep doing this, this will become normalized, right? Because we knew that that's what happened with drawing Muhammad, right? With the event that drawing Muhammad Day. You remember how it used to be when you draw Muhammad, embassies would get burned down and people would be killed and Muslims would come in the streets and it would be mass protests. Then it became like an annual event of Dry Muhammad Day. and it doesn't get that reaction anymore, even though like there's so many people drawing Muhammad, right? So we said, like, guys, if we keep doing blasphemy like this, like, because the whole point of like the attack that we got, like, we had so many people coming after me, after Susanna, coming after our members, coming after my family, coming after children in my family, right? The threats that we got from Hindutva was beyond anything I had experienced ever from Muslims, right? Like, it was extraordinary. Like, it was insane. And the whole point of that was to make us cower in fear and stop. And I was like, no, okay, our reaction should be what? Our reaction should be to double down. Because if we give up, then it shows that their method works. Their tactics will work, and it will encourage them to do more of that. We should be like, okay, one cartoon made you, one art made you react like this. We're going to do this now every single week. We're going to do this every single week. And they can't keep up that reaction. Eventually it will become desensitized. Eventually blasphemy will become normalized.
Yeah, because we need to normalize blasphemy. These people have got so much narcissism connected in when it comes to their religion. They think that no one has the right to criticize it, or not. No one has the right to even talk about it in a funny way, maybe. So they are so serious about their religion. They don't want to listen about anyone else's view, or they don't want to accept it. Okay, it's okay to not believe in your religion or not respect your religion. And this is the problem what we have in Islamic world, and that's the main reason why things are so bad in the Islamic world. And if India is going to go down that road, the results are not going to be any different. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. So I mean,
can I read you something I posted I think 2 months ago on my Facebook? It's just a one line I wrote. I said, to normalize blasphemy is to normalize dissent. To normalize dissent is to expedite progress. Okay? Because blasphemy is the blasphemy laws and blasphemy, intimidation against blasphemy is the most common form of fighting against dissent, to suppressing free speech. I mean, think of, is there any more widespread of suppression of free speech in the world, other than blasphemy laws or anti-blasphemous intimidation? This is the number one. Like, when it comes to the most common superstition, the most common superstition in the whole world is God, and the most common form of fighting against free speech is announcing that something is blasphemous, right? So this is why, I am not just against religion. I am against all forms of superstition and bad ideas. However, God is at the top of all of this. God is just the most common, bad, harmful idea. So that's why God just takes a lot of our attack would be on religion and faith and revelation and all of that. Also, that's the reason why one reason why we focus on blasphemy is not because we don't do other forms of activism for free speech, but blasphemy, fighting for the right to blaspheme, should, in our opinion, is the one way of fighting for freedom of expression.
So, I mean, I can close this one right now.
Yeah. Go ahead. You want to read the super chat?
Yeah. I appreciate good art, and Armin has some very creative artists in his team. Keep up the good work and keep lighting the lamp of rationalism and freedom of expression. We need it in the subcontinent. So encouraging remarks from
Again, if there's this uncensored version of the art is for our patrons only, but we do make a censored clothed version of all our art, because we also want to make sure that everybody has access to a free version of our art. So all the art that you see, our artist makes two versions of it. One of them is nude, the other one clothed, but it's still sexy, but with no nudity. And you could get the free version of it on blasphemousart.com. Okay. So just to let you know that you don't have to pay. Yeah. So there's a free version.
So, Armin, how are the things going on in Iran? Is your content available in Iran? Are people able to see what you do there?
I actually have a show in Persian. Like, I 3 times a week I stream in Persian. We have a Persian channel called Jumhuriye Bi Khodayan, which is basically
Mhm.
Atheist Republic in Persian.
Mhm.
And yes, things are. I think Iran has been the. I'm trying to not be, guys. I'm not a nationalist. Okay, I don't have any like Iranian pride or anything like that. Like I see myself as a global citizen. So if I say these things, it's because it's just objectively true. I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at Iran. There's many things wrong about Iran. Okay. However, when it comes to people leaving religion,
Mhm.
I can't see a better success story than Iran right now. I couldn't believe based on the recent statistic, Iran is actually now a Muslim minority country.
Mhm.
I could not ever imagine being able to say that in my lifetime. Iran is now a Muslim minority
The
country.
country. Yeah.
I want you
Yeah.
people to comprehend what that means. The understanding was Iran is 99% Muslim. It's not. It's only 40% Muslim. Iran, half of the people in Iran have left their religion in the past 40 years. In the past 40 years, half of Iranians have reported going from having a religion, not from Islam to a different religion. No, going from having a religion to having no religion in only 40 years. Half
Yeah.
of Iran, a country of 80 million people. That is extraordinary. Wow, Harris is here.
Yeah. Yeah. Harris is watching.
Hey.
So he's saying 3 streams a week. That's awesome, Armin. Yeah.
Yeah, the Persian show, and I have more streams on the English show as well. So
So, do you
thank
think
you,
that
Harris.
the Islamic regime is going to lose anytime soon, and we can see
No,
this change in the
I
convert
mean
into something political?
it's possible, but it does. It's not likely. It doesn't take much to be able to. The people don't have any guns or anything to be able to. Like the government has too much firepower. Even if
Mhm.
even if most people are against it, it doesn't take much for the government to be able to hold a tight grip on its people. The technology have advanced enough for a government that has access to that much firepower to be able to. Is I can't just. I mean, there are three things that could happen that might change this, right? In my opinion, a dramatic drop in oil prices could be one of them. If alternative source of energy becomes all of a sudden very cheap, Khamenei dying could open a window to maybe something happening where people will come take over, and also maybe something like Sputnik, makes internet accessible without the filter in all of Iran, but with
Mhm.
satellite internet by Elon Musk. I don't know. These things might make it a little bit more likely, but still not very likely, right? It just, I mean, look at what happened in Syria and I mean, not Libya,
Yeah, Libya also,
because
like Syria and Iraq.
yeah, I mean, if Assad is like doesn't have even remotely the same power as the Islamic Republic of Iran, right? And the
Uh,
people in Syria had an armed uprising against Assad, and even after all of that, Assad managed to maintain its grip on power, right? And Iran is a lot; it has a much bigger army than Assad, and the people in Iran are not as closely as armed as the uprising that was in Syria. It's almost close to. I mean, again, I'm not saying we shouldn't try. Like, I still say like the activism. Like, if you could make it from being 5% likely to 7% likely, you should still push it for. Like, even if you could increase the likeliness, that would put enough pressure on the government for the people to become like a new nuance to them, to become a challenge to them. So you shouldn't like not just be like, oh, okay, so there's no toppling of the government, so we shouldn't put pressure. No, you have to make it more likely. Even if it's less than 50%, you should still try to make it more likely. Hopefully one day it will become as likely as 10%, right? The pressure needs to be there. um, but yeah, so compared to Syria, it just makes it, I don't know, like Iran's military is a force to be reckoned with. Not if you compare it to, I don't know, superpowers, then it's not. But if you compare it to the forces in the region, and if you compare it to countries like Assad that managed to stay in power,
Yeah.
then it is a big force to be reckoned with, right?
And what about the Iranian political influence? Because Iran also has a lot of proxy wars going on in a lot of minor Muslim countries, even Yemen, and so,
Yeah.
and also about the status of this nuclear side, because Iran wants to have nuclear weapons for such a long time. So, what do you think?
Okay, so Iran is trying to build a Shia empire in the region, trying to revive Khomeini's vision of the Islamic Republic, is the Islamic Revolution of 1979, right? Because the Islamic Revolution of 1979 in Iran was not supposed to be an Iranian revolution. It was supposed to be
Hmm.
a Islamic revolution that was not limited by the borders of Iran. That was Khomeini's entire goal, and he died not seeing that dream come true. Khomeini and Khamenei don't see themselves as leaders of Iran. They see themselves as leaders of the Islamic world, not even the Shia world, but the Islamic world. That's how arrogant they are. But Khamenei has managed to actually make a lot of what Khomeini wanted to come true, bring it to fruition. Uh, like what Khomeini tried to do is try to use all these proxies around Shia proxies around the Islamic world as a way to, exert his power. But the only part of the world that it managed to successfully do that was in Lebanon with Hezbollah, right?
Hezbollah.
Hezbollah is a proxy of Iran. It was actually upsetting, very, very upsetting to Khomeini that didn't happen in Iraq, because going to war with Saddam, Khomeini's understanding was like the Shias of Iraq will take Iran's side because they're Shia, but that didn't happen. And this is why Khomeini was very anti-nationalist. Like, he didn't even care about Iran. He didn't like Iranian identity. When he didn't like using Iranian symbols, like Iran was not a thing that he wanted to defend. He was like, it was all about Islam, and he kind of saw nationalism as a threat to Islamism, right? But because of the Iran-Iraq war and the fact that nationalism made such an important role in motivating people to fight that war beyond just Shia Islam, nationalism had they were forced to use mix a brand of nationalism with Shia Islam and create Iranian exceptionalism because it's a chosen land by God for Shia Islam, right? Um, so that's how they managed to excuse Iranian nationalism. Um, but what happened was that, thanks to the United States, by taking out Saddam, all of this Shia empire building of the Vilayat Faqih in Tehran managed to become true. Like, all the after the Iran-Iraq war, they learned a lesson that they can't pay the heavy price of going into head-to-head confrontation with another country. The cost was too big. So for Iran, and they almost like were completely paralyzed. So instead of doing that, they started building networks, ideological networks, building mosques, building creating like a tentacles all around the Middle East through the Shia crescent, right? And basically managed to build a powerful network in Iraq, in Yemen, in Lebanon, in Syria. And if you look at the map, it looks very much like a crescent. And as soon as Saddam fell, all of that networking and all of that foundation building of Shia, not just Shia Islam, but the Shia Islam that is the brand of the imams in Tehran that are loyal to Khamenei, all of a sudden, with the fall of Saddam, it started having a huge return on investment on them beyond anything they could imagine. Like when I first saw Khamenei's banners being raised in Baghdad, I was like, this is something Khomeini didn't even dream of ever coming true. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
that United States just gifted all of that to Iran. And the whole problem with all of this for um, Saudi Arabia is that if you look at the Shia crescent, the empire that Khamenei is building, the center of that crescent, the crescent basically is surrounding Saudi Arabia, and this is
Yeah.
why ever since 1979, the Saudis have been completely terrified about the Iranian expansion as attitudes. And this is actually the reason why after 1979 Wahhabism was on the rise, right? I don't know if you know this, but your country
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah.
Your country
Yeah.
was fucked because of the revolution in Iran, right? Like
Exactly,
before
exactly.
before 1979, this whole Pakistan was not, I mean, dis-Islamized. It was because of Saudi Arabia's
Saudi
competition with,
petrodollars, petrodollars, all the
yeah, but
petrodollars.
what was the Saudis were trying to
Yeah,
compete with Iran's proxy
yeah,
building around the region. They saw that the Iranians were basically exporting their brand of Shia Islam around the Middle East as a way to do empire building, and Saudis tried to match that by building Wahhabi schools all around the world,
yeah,
all the way from Indonesia, I don't know, to in Pakistan. And you could see actually right after 1979, the madrasas in Pakistan like went up like a hockey
yeah,
stick,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And all the mosque building and the madrasas building. Like a lot of people say, like before 1979, before the Iranian Revolution of 1979, if you ask a lot of Muslims, they didn't even know the difference between a Shia and a Sunni. But now they know that actually we hate Shias, right? More
Yeah,
than
yeah.
anything else. So this was because of the exportation of Wahhabism to Pakistan in response to the exportation of Shia Islam from Iran outside of its borders, right? So, by the way, you're welcome. We fucked up your country. Sorry about that. But and also uh, this is this is not just Pakistan, right? This was the difference, however, is that Iran managed to become more successful at this proxy building around the region because when Iran exported Shia Islam, its brand of Shia Islam around the region, it managed to create a loyal following of people that are really willing to die for Khamenei, right? But when Saudi Arabia started spending petrodollars into exporting Wahhabism around the region, these people were into Wahhabism, but they were not into the House of Saud. Like they
Hmm.
saw them as they knew that for them this is not ideological. This is just an investment against forces that they do not like. They knew that the Sauds didn't take Islam as seriously as they do. They were against Sauds because how close they were to United States and how close now they are to Israel. I mean, for Iranians, the proxies that they built, they were it was like a dog on a leash. But for Saudis, the Wahhabism that they exported, it was like a Frankenstein monster that came back to kill Frankenstein, the doctor, right?
Yeah,
Like
because
yeah,
yeah, because their Wahhabism, through Wahhabism, people are more loyal to Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden rather than the Saudi royal family. That is
yeah.
what is
Now this
happening.
is what they created is now one of their main enemies.
Yeah, yeah,
So it didn't
yeah.
work out that well for them. So much so that just a few months ago, Mohammed bin Salman came out and said in an
Yeah, yeah.
interview, not only basically dismantled Wahhabism, he dismantled anything that could be recognized as Sunni Islam. He
Mhm.
attacked 95% of what we consider authentic hadith. Like he wasn't
Yeah,
just like he didn't say like, oh, Wahhabism. He didn't attack Hanafism, that which Wahhabism is on. He basically our full Islamic school of thought, the foundation that they're built upon. He basically questioned all of that. Like
yeah,
he's like that's how far they're moving away from what's traditional Islam. By the way, guys, don't buy into it. Mohammed bin Salman is a monster. Everything he's doing
yeah,
is
yeah.
for his survival. None of his reform are just all for aesthetics. Behind these, like, oh, women get to drive, people get to go watch movies in cinemas. Behind all of that are people that are being executed and tortured in prisons more than before, not less than before. Mohammed bin Salman is the worst leader Saudi Arabia has. Don't fall for all these reforms. He's responsible for a genocide of innocent civilians in Yemen at numbers that are astronomical. He's responsible for the greatest human rights violation of our lifetime with the help of United States of America. So United States is aiding Saudi Arabia in the greatest human rights violation of our lifetime. Don't let any of this whole women can drive. I mean, you can still be happy for the women that get to drive. I'm happy for them, but do not congratulate Mohammed bin Salman or Saudi's government for any of that. These people are monsters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are like that. So, I mean, like, how long you have been an atheist?
Oh, about like almost 20 years now. Yeah.
And how did it start? Why did you start to question things? And how did it happen? Any reason why you particularly any reason because of which you thought, okay, Islam is not for you? or God is not for you.
How much time do you have? You go
Yeah,
to
but
journey.
we can give 15-20 minutes to this if you want.
Okay. I just want to highlight the comment in the
Yeah,
butthurt
yeah,
in the lifetime summit. Islam is truth saying, do not miss the unlike and report button. Yeah, guys, unlike the video. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
you don't know what effect that's having. Yes, if you don't like the video, please unlike it. Oh my god, these people
Yeah,
are so
this
stupid.
this guy is like, 16, 17 years old, and he has kind of a
Oh,
love-hate relationship with me. So he
oh.
always comes and talks to me, and he brings a lot of arguments, and every time he gets really pissed off at me, but he keeps coming back. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, guys, please make sure that you like the video to support the
yeah,
video. So thank you.
yeah,
By the way, thank you for Islam is the Truth for reminding us that we need to like the video. Okay, so guys,
yeah, yeah.
please make sure you like the video. All right, so I have some visitors here that are here to see me. Let me can I before I start, can I show you?
Oh, yeah, oh my God.
I
Yeah,
appreciate.
he's so cute. Yeah,
All right. Okay, so my story about. So I used to be very religious, very
mhm,
religious. I used to be take Islam very seriously for a while, but I grew up in a very liberal, nominal Muslim family. Nominal
mhm.
Muslim. This is the name I came up with for Muslims who are only Muslim by name and don't do anything Islamic. My parents were like that, like the kind of people that never see inside of a mosque unless somebody is getting married or someone is just died. Um, but yeah, my parents like they drank alcohol. They never fasted. They never prayed, but they were Muslim on paper, right? Um, so, but I became, and so my parents were very liberal, more liberal than most Western parents actually. But my schooling was obviously because I was in Iran was Islamic. Do you want to read this super chat?
Yeah, yeah. So Mo is saying, can't wait for Allah to be removed from the Iranian flag, hijab to be part of history, and Iran to be mullah free again. Yeah,
Yeah, and not in
yeah.
our lifetime, but
Let's
yes,
hope maybe it happens soon and we are able to see it before we die.
yeah.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you for your super chat.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
Please, Aman, continue. Yeah,
Oh, you could. Okay, thank you, Islam is truth. Thank you, Doc. Thank you. What was I saying? Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
You're schooling in Iran.
oh yeah. So the thing is that I took this whole idea of hell very seriously, and I was very surprised that most people didn't take it seriously, right? Because we were told that we could all go to hell, right? If we're not a good Muslim and all of that. So, and it was very surprising to me that most people around me didn't care about burning in hell, even though they all believe that this is a possibility. I actually burned my hand just to be able to see how much it hurts to be
Burn
burned.
in hell. My God,
Yeah, yeah,
you
because
burn your own hand.
yeah, I just wanted to see because we were told in school that most Muslims, almost everybody, will spend some time in hell, and every
Uh-huh.
sin that you commit will get you like thousands of years in hell.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like watching videos of people getting burned alive, and I was like, I can't tolerate that. Like, and I was asking people like, aren't you worried about going to hell? And people were like, no, we're not. God is loving, and He's not going to send us to hell. And I was reading the Quran. Um, and I was like, but it doesn't seem like that. It seems like God is not that loving. And I was very terrified about going to hell. And I was also terrified about my parents going to hell
Mhm.
because even if I become a good Muslim and I make sure that I keep praying and I don't miss a fast, and I don't have impure thoughts, even if I do that, my parents are not doing anything Islamic, so they're gonna go to hell. And I was just imagining my mom burning alive, and I was like, that was so horrific. Until then, what happened was I
How
when I
old
was
were
in
you at that time? How old were you?
I remember since like age before even elementary school, I was crying about the idea of hell. And my aunt was asking me why I'm crying, but she found me crying. I was like, I'm afraid of going to hell. And she told me, like, don't worry, only like rapists and murderers will go to hell. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then when I went to school, they told me like, no, almost everyone's going to go to hell, including Muslims. The difference between Muslims and non-Muslims going to hell is like non-Muslims will stay in hell forever. Muslims will stay in hell until they pay for their sins, and then they go to heaven. But yeah, you're all going to go to hell at some
This
point,
is
right?
torture to a child. This is torture.
It was okay. It was a child. It was torture to me, but nobody else in my class like cared. No, like this is what
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
couldn't understand.
You
Like
are
if I
taking
told all
religion
these,
too seriously.
well, I mean, too serious. I was taking it as serious as it deserved because they all
Yeah, yeah.
believed it, but they didn't act like they believe it. Like if I told any of these people that somebody's going to come beat you up for 1 hour next year unless you do these things, they're all going to be like, "Holy crap! Let me see the list. What do I need to do?" But now they're being told that, "Oh, you're going to burn for thousands of years if you don't do these things." And they all say they believe it, and nobody seems to care. Like they all care about their careers, even the ones religious ones. They were not as terrified. Like, why are you not terrified? How are you? How is it possible for you not to be terrified if you actually think there's a place that we could go and burn, right? So here's what actually saved me in my what I thought saved me at that time. We learn in Islam. I don't, guys, in the live chat, you could tell me if this is what you were told. Okay, that children are innocent. So you're an ex-Christian, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what you're told. You're told that everybody is born with sin, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody is born with sin. That's what we were told. We were told
But the
that
concept of hell is almost the same.
yes, but
Yeah.
in Islam, a baby is pure, sinless.
Uh-huh.
In Christianity,
Yeah.
his baby has born with the original sin.
Yeah,
Right?
it is, but it also goes like the same thing. Also, people think children are innocent, but
All
because
right.
Jesus also says that if you want to go into the kingdom of heaven, you should be like one of these young ones.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
But whatever Christianity
but
says,
the original
is
sin is also there. Original sin is also there. Yeah,
okay. So whatever, I don't know, whatever Christianity says, what I know is that in Islam, babies are ma'asum. They're sinless.
yeah,
They're
yeah, yeah.
pure because you can't sin before you hit the age of reason, right? And again, guys, I know some of you are like Sunni or like a different branch of Shia Islam. And what I'm saying, like, oh, Armin, that's not Islamic. I'm just telling you what we were told in school. Okay, so what we're told is that age of reason, when you start sinning, when your sin starts counting, for boys, that's 15, and for girls, that's 9. Okay?
Mhm.
So that means that you cannot sin before age 15. We were told that you have 2 angels on your shoulders, and one of them is like
Yeah.
writing down your good deeds, and the other one is writing down your bad deeds. Their sheets are like white, snow white. Like there's nothing written on them until you hit age 15. As soon as you hit age 15, they start writing down your sins and your good, your
Yeah, good and
your
bad
good
deeds.
deeds and your bad deeds, right? So I, suicide is a sin in Islam, right? If you
Yeah.
if you commit suicide, you go to hell forever. However, I put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, okay, suicide is a sin, but there is no sin before age 15. So suicide cannot be a sin before age 15. So
My
I
God.
thought, if I kill myself before age 15, the only place I could go to would be heaven because I'm sinless. I went and asked, and I was like, where do children go when they die, given that they haven't committed any sins? They go directly to heaven, apparently. That's what I was told. I mean, they go to this place where you're hold until Qiyamah, and then you go to heaven. That's too much detail. But and I would ask my religious teachers, like, okay, why wouldn't I just kill myself before I hit age 15 so I could make sure that I go to heaven? Because if I wait after age 15, I will start sinning, and then I could go to hell. And they told me, okay, because if you die as a child, you go to the lowest part of heaven because you didn't earn heaven. You go to the part of heaven where dead children go, right? But why not just be a good Muslim and go to a better part of heaven? And I was like, I don't give a shit which part of heaven I go to. I just don't want to burn alive. Okay, I just don't want to burn. I could go to a parking lot for eternity. It's fine as long as I can guarantee that I'm not going to hell. So I jumped out of the window of my school.
Oh my.
I broke both my legs. I fractured my back. Almost got paralyzed because my bone was like, yeah. And I broke my left arm, and I was in a wheelchair and my bed for 7 months, right? And I missed 1 year of school. And the only reason why I didn't try it again is because what I saw it did to my parents, right? So it didn't work.
Yeah,
Um,
that's horrible. Like what happened to you because of Islam, the kind of brainwashing, it can physically hurt you. Your story
yeah.
proves that's this bullshit of brainwashing can physically hurt you. Religious brainwashing.
Okay. I'm an odd case though. I don't represent most people. Okay. However,
But there
I
would be
still feel,
people like you. There would be people like you. They would not
yeah.
be very common, but still there would be people like you who would take religion this much seriously and think about, going to extreme measures to get away from hell.
I think I've only met one other person that thought like this.
Uh,
Another girl. Um, and however, I still think that what my conclusions were completely rational. My premises were wrong because Islam is bullshit, right? But given the premises, if those premises were true, my rationale for why I came to that conclusion is completely solid. Like even to this day as an atheist, I think given those premises, what I did was the most reasonable thing to do. The only reason why my conclusion was not reasonable is not because my logic was flawed, is because the premises were flawed. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is what I always say. Like if you have faulty premises, even if you apply perfect logic to it, you still get a bad conclusion. This
Yeah,
is why
because
I'm
you arrive
against
at the
the
wrong
concept.
conclusion always.
Yeah, this is why I am against the concept of religion as a whole, because some people are like, hey, let's keep the faulty premises, but then reform religion in a way where you get to good conclusions. I'm like, if you're rotten to the core, if you start with faulty premises, whatever plant on that is going to become something horrible and harmful. You have to go at the root. You can't just steer people towards the right conclusions. In fact, if you have faulty premises, the only way to get people to good conclusion is to lie to them, right? You have to encourage lying and misrepresenting scripture to be able to get to good conclusions. So do we really want to normalize lying to people as a way to get good conclusions out of faulty premises? If you want to promote actually logical thinking and good premises, yeah, because here's the thing. Logical analysis of the what conclusions you should get to with the Islamic premises would get somebody like Daniel Hagachu or ISIS or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that would be the natural conclusion. If you're being logically consistent, that would be the right conclusion, right? So you either have to be against logic or you have to actually be against logic or pro lying to people. If you want to be both pro logic and against lying to people, then you shouldn't be for reform. You should
Yeah,
like
yeah.
remove the yeah. So, anyways, that's what my
Yeah.
anyway. So, how did I get to atheism? Because I
Yeah,
because
I'll read
yeah.
a
Go on.
few super chats here before.
Read.
Sorry, Haris is saying Armin is chronically over rational. In other cases, survival instincts would have kicked in. Yeah, so you are able to even suppress your survival instincts because of being rational. So this is what
My
he's
trick,
trying to say here.
when I was at the edge of the window, okay, I wanted to jump and I saw that I can't because I was afraid, right? So what I did was I remembered when I wanted to jump in the pool because the pool is cold. What I would always do, I would always say, close my eyes and say 1, 2, and jump, and no matter what happens, just jump. That's what I did in the swimming pool. So when I was at the edge of the window, I was like, I'm going to use the same strategy. I'm just going to say 1, 2, and just jump no matter what. So that's how I came over my survival instincts. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. So Morani is saying, Armin, as a boy, I was at age of 9. I'm having safe sex because I did not reach age 15. Will I go to hell or heaven? No, he's like saying, if I was less than 15 and I am having safe sex, will I go to hell or heaven? So yeah, he's
Um,
according
you're
to
at
Islam.
age.
If
Wait, you're
someone,
age 9. How do you even
if
have? Yeah,
yeah,
if
but we have
but
an
it doesn't
example of
really matter.
a time. There
Even if you
was a
commit
moment.
genocide, even if you commit genocide before age 15, according to what we were told, none of it counts towards your sins.
Yeah. So we are here. I think he's referring to Aisha, age 9,
Mm,
having sex.
no, no, Aisha,
She was
no, no,
15 when Muhammad died, and maybe she had sex with this
this
Sahabi.
has this has nothing to do with Aisha. Aisha was a
No, no,
girl.
no. Actually, he is putting a scenario in front of you. Maybe he missed something in writing here. He's basically, what I understand, he's saying that if Aisha had sex with that Sahabi, she was not 15 at that time.
But
Yeah.
the age of reason for girls was 9. Remember, I
Okay.
said
Okay. Okay. Okay.
15 is for
Ah.
boys,
For-
9 is for
okay. 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 I did not get that. So for
yeah.
Aisha, it would be still a sin.
Yes, yes, but Aisha didn't have any choice in what who was she sleeping
Uh,
with, so I don't think she would be
uh.
she would be guilty of anything. You have
Now
to
he's
actually
saying,
yeah. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was 9, she was 6. Her name is Aisha. My God. Murani Sahab,
I don't know why we're
six
talking
things
about
you are
this.
doing? What six things
This is
you have been doing at age 9?
I
I
don't know
don't
why we're
know. Yeah,
talking about this, Aziz. This
yeah,
is weird.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think we should.
So, what about
Oh,
this Islamo?
what?
Yeah, yeah. You continue,
No,
continue.
how did I
Sorry.
become an atheist? Okay, so
Yeah.
when I became 15, I realized that if I want to avoid going to hell, I have to take Islam very seriously, right? So I started becoming like a very observant Muslim, as much as I could. I read the Quran, I did my prayers, I did my fasting. But what it was I was also starting to notice girls a lot, and I realized that it's impossible not to sin, because what we were told is that it's not just your actions that could be sinful, your thoughts could also be sinful. And as a boy going through puberty and noticing girls and just having lustful thoughts, I wasn't able to control that. And I was like constantly sinning and feeling like shameful because I knew God could see what I'm thinking. And I was
Mhm.
constantly feeling ashamed and had to do tawbah, tawbah, tawbah. It was so hard, right? Not literally, but not to sin, right? So um, but what I also recognize is that even if I manage to become a good Muslim and you know not go to hell, my parents are still going to go to hell, right? And I try
Mhm.
to convert. I try to make sure that they observe Islam, and I became a religious morality police at home. And my
My God.
parents were so annoyed in me trying to make sure that they do their prayers, and they were
Mhm.
I was like against my dad drinking alcohol. It was so annoying to them. I also recognize that all the movie actors and the soccer players, they're all going to hell. Every single one of them is going to go to hell. Like we watch European soccer, um, we watch American movies, we watch news on the BBC, and I was looking at these people like just imagining them just like screaming in pain forever and ever and ever because they're not Muslim. I couldn't imagine why would God do this to people, right? And then to justify that, because it was bothering me so much, I went and tried to figure out maybe like all these other people, like Christians and Jews and everybody else, is basically kind of like a Muslim. Like maybe they're Muslim light, like Muslimish or something like that. So I wanted to try to justify that maybe everybody's like kind of like a Muslim. So I wanted to study other religions, and the first book I picked was like a book about the history of religions, right? And when I started studying that book, it was became very apparent to me very fast that religions are man-made. And then I start thinking like, what if my religion is man-made, right? So I didn't like when I started thinking that, I didn't know any other atheists, I didn't know any other skeptics. I was just reading history, and it just seemed like this was just religion was like just one religion, mix of the cultural native stuff with other religions. Just seemed like very political about the evolution of religion. Seemed very very political. And then I just realized that I had never asked myself if this religion is true. Like I tried to remember at that point, when was the time that I assumed that Islam is true, because I was like, when was the point where I just decided that Islam is real? And I couldn't remember that. I was like, what? I just assumed it. And I was kind of embarrassed that I always just assumed it. And it was very interesting because when I became an atheist, I was the only atheist I knew. Like I know a lot of other atheists, like they know Carl Sagan, they know Richard Dawkins. The only other two atheists I knew was in our religion book was referred to was like Marx and Freud, and the only reason why they were mentioned is to show how badly godlessness can be, right? So the only three atheists I knew was Freud, Marx, and myself. Those are the
Yeah, it
only
was
people I
also
know.
the same for me. I did not know any atheist when I became an atheist. But did you know about Ali Dashti and the others? Like, there have been a lot of Iranian atheists. Ali Dashti, 23 years that he wrote,
Yeah,
that book. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Apparently I didn't know that we have a long history of
yeah,
atheists. I
yeah.
mean, it's like if you read Khayyam, a lot of
Mhm,
people come with the conclusion that this guy is an atheist. Khayyam himself
mhm.
seems to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
an
yeah,
atheist. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it was there. But you have been on the forefront of Islamic criticism. You go to universities, you give lectures many times, you talk about how Islam is affecting our current world and everything. So, what do you think about the word Islamophobia? Because whenever you try to talk about Islam, you are
Mhm.
at once branded Islamophobic. And I think it is not the right wing that are to be blamed here. It is the left wing who has failed to understand, the narrative of people like us. So, because you and I, we lean towards left. We are not right wingers. So, how do you see this, and how, when, and if would the left understand it, that criticizing Islam does not mean hating Muslims?
Um, okay, let me just say, I've seen a lot of improvements on this from the left
Mhm,
in the past
mhm,
couple of
mhm,
years. A lot of this used to be a bigger problem like 5 years ago.
mhm,
Um, and it's still a problem. A lot of people still think like, oh, if you criticize Islam, you're Islamophobic, you're a bigot or whatever. There's still a problem, but not as much as before. In fact, so many, if you actually look at the most of the streamers, left-leaning streamers, they are more and more often they're becoming like, yeah, I'm against Islam because I'm
mhm.
against religion, right? So this is becoming less of a problem compared to before, right?
And we can hope that in the coming years it would get better.
Yes. I also
Mhm,
think that part of the reason why this could become better is from our part, because I want to criticize our people instead of the left here, the Western leftists, okay? Because it's true that the accusations of Islamophobia when you criticize Islam is nonsensical and ridiculous, okay? However, we shouldn't deny something that is real, and that's anti-Muslim bigotry, okay? And I think like a lot of times when we deny the fact that criticizing Islam, which accurately so, justifiably so, when we say Islamophobia accusations, when we criticize Islam is nonsense, a lot of us should follow up, but don't follow up by saying, however, I do recognize this other thing that maybe you're trying to refer to, and that is anti-Muslim bigotry. And guess what? I am actually against that. Like a lot of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
anti-Islam critics need to be louder when it comes to highlighting and condemning anti-Muslim bigotry. So I am against Islam, but I'm also very much against Islam, but I'm also very much against anti-Muslim bigotry. In fact, one thing you could do to, if you even if you mostly care about your anti-Islam activism, right? I think, I mean, you should be like this just because you care about humans, but I
Yeah,
think like defending the human rights of Muslims, like speaking for them, standing
exactly.
up for them, actually makes you a stronger advocate against Islam, because
Yeah,
you can't be, you know, I mean, this shouldn't be. The psychopaths amongst you who don't care about human lives and only care about defeating Islam, even if you only care about defeating Islam, you can't be dismissed as a bigot if you actually spend time defending the rights of Muslims, right? Like, we need to speak, like, as anti-Islam critics, we also need to speak up for the rights of Muslims in China, or
yeah,
the
yeah,
rights of Muslims,
definitely.
or the rights of Muslims in India, or the rights of Sunni Muslims in Shia Iran, or the
Mhm.
rights of Shia Muslim in Sunni Pakistan, or the rights of Muslims in Yemen who are being massacred. Like, so So this is like something that we need to be loud, like as anti-Islam critics, because here's another thing you have to be worried about. It is true that criticizing Islam doesn't make you a bigot. Okay. However, we shouldn't deny that a lot of bigots against Muslim hide behind criticizing Islam. That is true. We can't deny that. Okay.
Yeah.
And
That is
we
true.
need to we shouldn't be part, even if we're not anti-Muslim bigots ourselves, we shouldn't be used as a way to provide them cover. And we need to be able to separate ourselves from them, and we need to make sure that we're not being used by them. And the way you make sure that you're not used by them is, as much as you criticize Islam, unapologetically. I'm not saying hold back. Do not hold back in your criticism of Islam. Go 110% against Islam. But I think at the same time, speaking in defense of Muslims separates you from the people that have ill intentions against Muslims themselves.
Armin, I also have a guest.
Ah, hello. So cute.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
So he's here to say hi to you.
Hi.
Okay. So yeah. Please continue. Please.
Yeah. So I used to be more picky. A lot of people do not have bad intentions when they accuse others of Islamophobia. Like, so there are some people in the left, when they say, like, you criticize Islam and they're like, oh my God, you're being Islamophobic. And you're like, no, I'm just criticizing an idea. I'm not taking a position in an entire group of people. I'm just against these opinions. I'm criticizing opinions, right? I'm even insulting opinions. Okay, that's fine. It's opinions. It's people's ideology. It's not. I'm not for denying these people's rights. In fact, I would be speaking for their rights. Okay. So that is a ridiculous use of the word Islamophobia when you're criticizing Islam. However, there are some good-intentioned people who use the word Islamophobia, and they're not referring to you criticizing Islam. They're referring to people who are actually anti-Muslim bigots. Okay, They're using the wrong word. I think the correct word would be anti-Muslim bigotry. Because the word Islamophobia has the word, because the word anti-Muslim bigotry has the word Muslim in it, so you're talking about people. The word Islamophobia has the word Islam in it, so you're talking about a set of ideas, right? So I don't like the word Islamophobia, but if I know that they actually mean anti-Muslim bigotry, even though they're using the wrong terminology, I don't get as butthurt about it as I used to, because they're addressing something that actually needs to be addressed. I used to be like, don't call it Islamophobia. This is anti-Muslim bigotry. Like, yes, you're actually condemning something that needs to be condemned here. Yes, but
exactly.
The label is wrong. Use the right label. And now I'm like, I might if I get an opportunity, I might correct them. Like, can you please use this label instead of that label? Thank you very much, please. But I'm not like as butthurt about it as I used to get. You know what I mean? They are addressing something that actually is a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And what about when you held up this Allah is gay, and that video went viral, and all of us saw that. And what was the reaction that you were getting from all sides? So from the side of atheists, and from the side of Muslims, and maybe the side of liberals and conservatives, what were they saying about that?
So here's the thing: when you do blasphemy against Islam and it has anything LGBT in it, then a lot of leftists don't actually condemn you for being offensive. Okay, because as important, even the most wokey leftists who are actually Islam apologists, they care more about fighting against homophobe. Oh, hey, Harris.
Hey, no, carry on. I just came in because I was listening to your point on Islamophobia, and I've always held that position. But as you said, that if you get an opportunity, you would try to tell them. But don't you think that obviously not all of us are going to get an opportunity when someone brings up the word Islamophobia incorrectly, but with good intentions? But then we just always kind of like have to add that footnote. Look, like, by the way, Islamophobia is not the correct term. Anti-Muslim bigotry. Don't you think that we should still always try to keep pushing the case for the wrong terminology? Because I think because this was such an awful word that after so long, we have now, as you said yourself, that a lot of people now are dropping their word. A lot of people have recognized the difference between Islam and anti-Muslim bigotry. Also, a lot of left-leaning people who didn't want to talk about Islam, but now, it's not as bad as it used to be. I think that's because of us pressing the case that,
Definitely.
there's a difference.
Yeah, okay, so I am always for correcting it. However, the reason why I am sometimes against just letting it go, sometimes, is because sometimes it's you bringing up that case is coming at the expense of the crime that they're bringing attention to, and we're taking time, like especially when it's in a debate or it's a limited format of an interview, and you know what I mean. There are people who are being attacked, who are being massacred or being hunted down, or their lives are being ruined. Okay, and they're trying to bring attention to that. And that's such an important case. And I think in that moment, maybe me focusing on can you use this terminology in that instead might be not the highest priority. Maybe focusing on the fact that some people's rights are being violated at that moment in time needs to be just focus on that. Maybe at the other times. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes highlighting oh, this is not Islamophobia, this is anti-Muslim bigotry. Sometimes it's just not a good look when the actual highlights is the crimes that are being committed against individuals. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think that is more of a reason to actually highlight it as a footnote. I'll give you an example. When there was this Australian senator who, when this thing happened in New Zealand and he blamed Muslims, and I started this biggest online petition. So when we went in to the Australian politicians and I was, hang on, sorry, I just climbed so many stairs. So when I went there, it was five levels up, so it's not too bad. So when I went in to give the signatures of all the petitioners, which was symbolic activity because we had 1 million signatures. At that point, they were all using the word Islamophobia, say no to Islamophobia. They had already written it, and I said, which I felt quite empowered as well. I said, look, please don't use this word Islamophobia. I don't want to stand next to it. And this was all happening behind the scenes, and I think we changed it to Muslimophobe or anti-Muslim bigotry or something. We changed it to that very quickly, just for the photos, and we did that. But again, we didn't really take the focus away from the main topic. But this is what I'm saying, because if we have limited amount of time, then that is more of an opportunity, or it's probably more important to talk about it at that point, because if we are somehow associated with, sometimes I've even used the word Islamophobia as well, in the flow, and I corrected myself. But I think it's probably, if you're on CNN or something, let's just say you're invited for an interview on CNN and you've only got 30-second window and someone brings up Islamophobia, I think you can mention that in 10 seconds. Okay, look, first of all, it's not Islamophobia, it's anti-Muslim bigotry.
Yes. Yeah. As long as you just, that's a side note, and you then join others in condemning. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm not saying that take it away, but I think it is still very important for us who understand it. I think it's very important for us to actually just still never be, not even for a moment, be associated with that word, because it's just going to run with it. And in this day and age of deceitfulness, people actually use these little clips and they say, "Oh, even Armin agrees with the word Islamophobia."
Oh no, no. I never suggested that I would use the word. Oh my, no way. I'm just saying,
but if you don't correct them,
but he's saying that
no. Okay, no. So here's the thing. I just think what I'm saying is that I'm not gonna act as butthurt as before, because it seems like I'm getting offended when people are being hurt. It seems like I'm being hurt, offended by something that is less of a priority. You're right. I agree with you. I should add that correction right away. Like, yeah, by the way, it would be better to refer to it as anti-Muslim bigotry instead of Islamophobia. But I should also make really quickly mention that. But I'm just thinking that shouldn't be something that you seem more hurt by than the people's lives being, ruined. Like, you have to, if it just seems like you're equally offended by both of these, it just doesn't seem your priorities are right. But I agree. Like, you have to take the opportunity to correct that. You're right. Okay, I agree with you on that. But I'm just saying, just make sure where you can demonstrate where your priorities are.
Yeah, I think we agree on that. I think everyone would know that someone spreading anti-Muslim bigotry is a far bigger of a problem than just using an incorrect terminology, even with the best intent.
I mean, imagine if you're on a news channel and you have a Muslim hijabi woman, and she says, like, the crimes against Muslims in China is unacceptable, and the world is silent, and this Islamophobic Chinese government needs to be like, more people need to stand against Islamophobia from the Chinese government, right? And then it's Harris Sultan's turn, and Harris Sultan is like, "What? This is not Islamophobia. This is anti-Muslim bigotry. We have to use the right term."
You're exaggerating. You're exaggerating.
I know you wouldn't do that. That's why I said imagine. I know you wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying, imagine if you did that, right? It would just like, okay, this woman is talking about crimes against humanity, and that's what she's offended by. And okay, not Harris, like let's say Armin, okay? But Armin seems to be more worried about using the right words, right? So but you're right. The way it should be done, like, okay.
But how should you? But how should you address that? Like, if you heard that, so I know what you're saying. I don't think any sane person would do it. If someone is sitting there doing that, then it's probably just some crazy maniac. But how do you think you should address that if some woman is speaking about, there's all this, and then she throws in the word Islamophobia, and she talks about the genocide being committed against her? Now it's your turn. How would you actually say it? In your,
I would just first confirm her fear. I agree with her. I would be like, yes. We are Muslims and non-Muslims agree with this. This is a human rights issue. This is not a non-Muslim issue. We should, like, Muslims and non-Muslims and even critics of Islam need to stand with each other in condemning this. Right? We could. And then, by the way, I would prefer using the word anti-Muslim bigotry. I think that's a lot more helpful and a lot more correct. But then I would make it like a sandwich, right? Start with confirming everything she's saying and agreeing with her, throwing the correct word, like with very not offended, not a big deal, but also then follow up with confirming and agreeing with the condemnation.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's pretty much how I would say as well. But then I would also say, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. These people have been killed. Anti-genocide is being committed, probably because of their faith, which is related to Islam. But unfortunately, it's not really about Islam. There's no crime being committed against Islam. It's a crime being committed against Muslims as people. So that's why the Islamophobia is not a correct term.
I might even throw in the line as saying, I think referring to it as anti-Muslim bigotry will unite more people in condemning it. I might even suggest that, because that would get people.
But now you're more going into it. Now you're more going into it. Like, hang on, are you changing the debate topic? So that's what I'm saying. Just say the footnote.
You're right. Maybe I would.
If they ask you, if the hijabi woman gets triggered, now that's the funny part. If she gets triggered, now hang on a second. What do you mean by anti-Muslim bigotry? This is hatred for Islam, because look at me. I wear a hijab. I love Islam. So that's when you go, okay.
Now,
See,
Harris, in that situation, she made it a topic. I slightly touched up upon the use of correct words.
Yeah, I agree.
If she makes it the word, then she made it the discussion. I didn't make it a discussion.
I hope that none of these hijabi Islamic women who you are going to encounter somewhere, both of you are listening to all of this, Otherwise,
no, why not?
Before
but this is not a tactic against them. We're like talking about how we could like work with them against anti-Muslim bigotry. So this is
what I was saying. Yeah. Okay, so Armin, Haris is also there, but last thing I would ask you is, like, do you truly think Allah is gay or not?
Well, the explanation, like somebody asked me when I was holding that sign, somebody asked me like, why is Allah gay? And I said like, well, Allah is a fictional character, so we can make it whatever we want. I mean, haven't you seen our blasphemous art? We keep like with fan fiction, you could like, you see people with when they write fan fiction about Harry Potter, some of the stories, some of the rules change, some of the characters change, some of the, like, you could, it's fiction, it belongs to the world, and you could play around with it no matter how I mean, is Allah truly gay? For Allah to be truly anything, Allah first has to exist. So no, Allah is not truly gay because there's no Allah. But since Allah is fictional character, then we are free to just use our imagination and make it whatever we want. So yeah, Allah is gay in my fiction, in my fan fiction.
Yeah. So I've given you guys the link. So if you want to ask anything, Armin is there and he would like to answer. Armin, do we have half an hour?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I've given you guys the link. If you want to talk to Armin, you can, come and talk. Yeah. So what else? Haris, you want to say something here?
I'll just switch over to my computer and I'll come back.
Okay.
Haris, invite me more on your channel. I want to talk to you more often.
Yeah. I think Haris would. So no.
I enjoy talking to my fellow ex-Muslim streamers. I enjoy talking to Apostle Prophet, Abdullah Samir, Haris Sultan. I feel like we get so much valuable interaction whenever we're streaming together.
Yeah, sure.
You don't meet people. Yeah, go ahead.
So we have this thing going on now. So many things are happening in Urdu and Hindi. And, Pakistan is being hit by a storm right now. So it's everywhere, it's going on. People are listening to us. This thing is very new for them. And it was not there at all at first. So now I think in the next few years, we are going to see a lot of acceptance for atheism in Pakistan as well. At least now they are accepting that people like us exist. Before they even did not ever accept it.
Yeah. I think his religion is done in the next 100 years. People think I'm crazy.
Well, I reckon so too. I reckon even sooner than that, we'll start seeing the demise of religion. And then, if you say 100 years it'll be gone, that's probably like it'll become a minority, as atheism a minority. Now, I don't even think atheism is a minority now. It's like, I think after Christianity and Islam, or maybe on par with Hinduism, I think it's the third largest denomination when it comes to people's belief or lack of belief. I think that's going to be very interesting. But if it's gone in 100 years, we'll obviously be seeing major shift in demographics within the next 10, 20 years. We're already seeing that. You're saying that. What did you say? I think that's the Utrecht University study. It's a wonderful study that I think I made 2 videos on that. It's one of my most watched videos on my Urdu channel and an English channel as well, where let that sink in for a moment, how you phrase it, that Iran, Muslims are in minority in Islam. Oh, no, Shia Muslims. Yeah. Shia Muslims.
No, Muslims.
Muslims are in minority. Yes, Muslims are in minority. So we have
Shias are like 30%, 33% or something, and Muslims are 40%. So no matter how you look at it, they're a minority.
Yeah, right. And what is it? 35% are agnostic and atheist. I mean, I would throw the word agnostic because those people who don't subscribe to any religion, but they might believe in a God.
Okay, so it depends on how you describe self-described atheists, they're 20%, but atheists is 40%. Okay, because if the people who say that they're atheists, it's only 20%. But when you ask people who believe in how many people believe in God, 40% of the people in Iran don't believe in a God. So even though if they don't describe themselves as atheists, by definition, there are atheists. So 40% of Iran is atheists.
Yeah, that's quite amazing, sir.
We would take questions. So
this is by the way, thanks to the Islamic Republic of Iran, by the way. Like I'm saying, like the Islamic Republic, the mullahs have managed to make more atheists than a million atheist activists could do in 10 lifetimes. So
okay, so Moon is there. Moon, just please keep it short and precise.
Yes, I have 2 questions. I have two questions. First question is, what are the major goals of atheism? Do you think those are points which can be major goals for atheism, sir?
Atheism has no goals. Atheism is just a lack of belief in God and nothing else. Okay. Are you talking about our goals? Are you talking about Harris Sultan's channel's goals? Are you talking about Atheist Republic goals? Are you talking about this channel's goals? Are you talking about Enlightenment values goals? Are you talking about modernity, which direction modernity is going? Are you asking about the point of human rights? These are different from atheism. Atheism is just the answer to one question. Do you believe there's a God? No, you're an atheist. There's no goals.
Sir, my second question is: Do you think that the world could be better in the case everyone could be atheist, everyone will be atheist, then world will be better? Or an auxiliary question, according to your first question, that if there is a no goal of atheism, then what should be the atheism can do for the world? So this is my last question, sir.
Atheism can help the world get the answer to one very simple question that has caused a lot of harm, right? Get a question that is very simple to understand, that getting it wrong has caused so much suffering to the world. Getting that answer to that question right is good. By the way, how is atheism going to make the world better? It's not just atheism. Okay, so if you get the answer to more questions right, the world is going to become a better place. Any questions, the more your beliefs are match closer to reality, your life is going to be better. And a society that has more people that their belief systems is closer to reality, that is going to be a society that is going to have an easier time to progress. Okay, the farther away your belief system is from what actually reality is, the harder for you as an individual and your society is going to be able to plan and succeed in achieving its goals, whatever its goals are. Like, think about your belief system as a map. Okay, if your map doesn't match the actual reality, then whatever your treasure is, and everybody's going to have a different treasure. So you're saying what your goal is. Everyone's goal is going to be different. Everybody's treasure is going to be hidden in some different part. Okay, but everyone's goal is going to be achievable easier if the map that they're holding matches the reality of the ground out there closer, right?
Okay, Moon. We will move on. Thank you.
Okay.
Does it want Harris? Do you want Harris to answer?
No?
Harris, you want to answer it?
Well, I agree with that, but I think the only point is when people, which is, I know, not the good way to look at it, but people always look at it like, what's in it for me? What's the outcome? Like, very analytically, people want to look at it. So, okay, so for example, when we are asked this question that, okay, so what would happen if you remove the religion, if there's atheism? Oh, are we going to get Stalin, or we're going to get, Mao and Kim Jong-un or something like that? That would be a horrible world, no morality, etc., blah, blah, blah. So they imagine that, even though when you think about it, like, okay, I'm just telling you there is no God. That's it. I mean, everything else. So, but what would be the unintended consequences, or what people think that what atheism is not a person, atheism is not an individual. So what is the goal of atheism? So you say, if you look at it, realistically, atheism itself is nothing. Atheism is simply saying, sorry, the time that you're wasting with this religion, that's not true. Everything else comes afterwards, all the political ideologies that come after it as a result of it. So I think that's what these guys mean, to which I think what the answer is obvious, that once you let go of that one false idea, then the rest works out by itself. I mean, it could go either way. It could become really evil. It could be very terrible. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, so $50 super chat from D. That's amazing. But can I just add something to this? Because you mentioned Stalin and all. I just think, like, the less lies we believe in, the better everything is going to be. However, removing one lie doesn't mean that you're not going to fall for other lies. Like Stalinism is another lie, right? But it just because you might fall for other lies, that doesn't mean removing this lie is not an improvement. Yes, there are other lies that you could be conned by, but removing this lie will make your life and everyone else's lives better. By the way, $50 super chat, D. Thank you.
Yeah, D Bodro, thank you very much for your super chat. So Cassius Clay is there.
D loves Ghalib.
Yeah,
he does not mean like that.
Islam is truth. Your mic is not connected, so you should connect your mic before you can talk to you. Yeah, hi, Cassius Clay. How are you?
Hi, Armin. How are you?
Hi.
Yeah, Armin. I want to ask
Do
you
you
that.
have?
Yes, I have a question. I just
Okay.
want to say that Haris' style is different. As per your style is more like you go for mocking and that you pick
Harris,
you
what? Sorry.
make cartoons.
My style is different, but I reckon my style. Yeah, well, everyone is different. I think he's
Yeah.
trying
Okay.
to he's
What's the
No,
trying to
question?
relate.
he's
Yeah.
saying that I think what he's trying to say here is that Armin
No,
mocks religion
I
a
don't want
lot.
to ask to interpret. I just didn't hear the first part. I just wanted to get
Yeah.
it. Go and finish your question.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is that like Haris' approach is different to religions. He doesn't mock or go like to hurt. He doesn't want to hurt sentiments directly, like
I do.
going for cartoons and saying like you you draw cartoons and do all these things. It's fine for
Mhm.
me. I am also for freedom of speech and freedom of expression or everything. But the thing is, it doesn't seem to be more objective as to change people's mind. Do you have
Right.
anything to say on that? Because
Yes.
because Harris is different at that point.
Let
Right.
Armin
Because
respond. Yeah.
Well, because we're trying to do two different things, okay? Sometimes we're trying to change people's opinions. Other times we're just fighting for our right to free speech, okay? We do different things for different goals. We have different tactics, okay? When we're doing something that a lot of people find insulting or blasphemous, when we're doing that, our goal at that time is not to actually convince anybody that Islam or Hinduism or Christianity is wrong, okay? When we are actually when we do want to change people's opinions, then we talk about, I don't know, the logical fallacies and religious ways of thinking. We talk to people in a friendly way, try to listen to them, try to acknowledge them listening to us, and then make a connection, and then try to, respectfully point out why that we think their opinions are wrong or unfounded, and sometimes again passionate as well. But when we're actually doing blasphemy or when we're doing like insulting religious ideas, at that time our goal is not to change people's opinion. At that time, we were introduced to some red lines around what we get to say, and we want to piss on those red lines and tell the people that don't get to do that. You don't get to tell us what we can and we cannot say. So so a lot of people don't understand, because they assume the goal of the blasphemy is to change people's opinion, and they rightfully say that, okay, it's not going to work. We know it's not going to work. We have a different tactic for when we're trying to change people's opinions. This has a different goal. Does that make sense?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I just want to.
Let me
No,
ask
no,
you.
hang on. Cassius, hang on a sec. I think you asked one
Okay,
question. I
okay.
think,
Yeah, I
Ghalib, how
think
many
I
other
don't
people are there?
know if I am stuck. I think
Yeah, you are. Your video is stuck. You're like this.
because it
Okay,
seems
it's
like
back.
that
It's fine.
Haris
It's
and
back. It's fine.
Armin both are stuck.
It's fine. It's fine now.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Cassius, I think you very nitpicked one particular point on Armin, that he draws cartoons so Harris doesn't try to hurt the sentiments, etc. That's actually not true, and I'm not winning any points either from any side. I've said some pretty atrocious things, outrageous, not atrocious, outrageous things by the worldview of those. Like, I mean, I shared the cartoon of Kalima, and I said that it's right to do it. I just tend not to do it because I just think that it just unnecessarily drags me down to some point where I just don't want to be. That's the only reason. But I never. I don't think my approach per se is different. Where I'm like, okay, I don't want to hurt the sentiments of that. No, go for it. I just don't do it because it would just I would just get muddied unnecessarily. That's the only reason why I didn't show the cartoons of Muhammad, and because of that, I choose because I have to be impartial. I have to be equal everywhere. So I don't show the cartoons of Kalima or the Hindu goddess or
Yeah.
any other religion either. That's the only reason. Even though I know if I showed the cartoon of Kalima, my life would not be as endangered if it would be if I showed the cartoon of Muhammad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just say all the other atrocious things about Muhammad. My life is still endangered. I'm not winning any points.
I also think like we're when we do these things, we're like softening the blow on anybody who says less insulting things that we do. Do you know what I mean? Like, it used to be that just leaving Islam was so offensive for so many Muslims, right? Now, what we hear is like a lot of Muslims are like, okay, leave Islam, but don't be like Armin. Do you know what I mean? Like we have moved the lines of what is like, we're trying to move the lines of what is considered to be offensive, so that the people who do less offensive stuff than us, they compare them to us, and they look so not offensive that at least what they're doing is now more acceptable, because you're just comparing them to us. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay. Do you feel bad if you do something like that in your heart is somewhat like that?
No.
If you do blasphemous things.
Do you feel bad
about?
Because if I do, I will feel bad for them.
For them, no, because we're not forcing it on anybody. Anybody that sees our art has chosen to see it. We're not forcing it upon anybody, so I don't feel bad.
Okay, Cassius Clay, thank you. We'll move on. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Come again. Okay, Common Man is there. So I was hoping that maybe some of the people who want to ask you about the Hindutva thing would also be there. Hello. Yeah. Common Man, hello. Hello, your mic is on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Sir? Hindi में बोलूँगा चलेगा sir?
He doesn't understand Hindi.
He would not understand Hindi. So
then keep it really concise so we can translate it for him. Just keep it very short.
अरे
छोटा सा क्वेश्चन बता दें, हम ट्रांसलेट कर देंगे.
ओके. जैसे आज हमारे यहाँ पूजा है, तो आज मैं चिकन को खा सकता हूँ कि नहीं?
क्या खा सकते हैं?
आज हमारे यहाँ कुछ ऐसा पूजा और पाठ है, तो अपन चिकन खा सकते कि नहीं, या नॉनवेज खा सकते कि नहीं?
नहीं तो आर्मिन कोई हिंदुओं का गुरु है. आर्मिन
अरे मैं थोड़ा ट्रिकी कर रहा हूँ सर. क्या होता है ना सर, जैसे ये हिंदू बोलते हैं ना, बड़ा वो एथियस्ट है. मेरे यहाँ बड़ा एकदम तकलीफ हो गया सर. आज ना हमको एकदम कुर्ता पजामा पहनना है, नॉर्मल होना है, चिकन नहीं खाना है, कुछ नहीं खाना, लेकिन आज चिकन खाने और मटन खाने का बड़ा मन कर रहा है.
ये बातें बड़ी लंबी हैं. अपने गेस्ट के लिए. थैंक यू. गेस्ट को फिर ऐसे ही आप उसका टाइम जाया कर रहे हैं. Yes, sorry. Next question.
He was not. I mean, sorry, he was not asking anything that was remotely related to the topic, or maybe he was not asking a question that was specifically for you. That question might have been better asked to a Hindu. Maybe Pandit or something like that.
It was so silly. Like he just said, today is a temple worship day, so can I eat chicken? I was like,
okay, guys, you can also ask questions in the chat. You can also ask questions in the chat. I don't know if
well, he thought of something. There you go. He's eating chicken.
Pork.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he even. Pork. You're eating pork.
Pork. Yeah.
All right.
Because I get accused. By the way, guys, I keep Hindutva keeps telling me that I'm a secret Muslim, because ever since I started attacking Hinduism, I constantly get accused of doing taqiyya and of being a secret Muslim. So I want to prove to everybody that there's no way I'm a secret Muslim, because Muslims could pretend to drink alcohol, they could pretend to do even the spice, but they could never do this. They could never
you know what you're eating.
So
you
have your live demonstration of Armin eating pork here. Guys.
You know what you're eating? What you're eating was once a very smart, intelligent animal that had to go through.
That's what makes it more delicious. That's what makes it so delicious.
You're also a sadist and a psychopath, then.
So Armin, it is always a debate between me and Haris as well, because I like.
I'm actually probably very delicious myself. But go on.
I like to eat meat, but Haris wants to.
I eat meat. I do eat meat. I know Armin and I also had a very long conversation. I think in Germany, maybe didn't we speak about this a little bit? Yeah, I think we did. So but let's not go in the rabbit hole. But yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I think today, because this was totally a surprise, kind of. I was in a different kind of. I was thinking that I would be going to your channel, not you would be coming to my channel. Yeah. So I did not schedule it at all. So I think people did not get notified in time. That.
Well, let's have you on my channel, guys. Actually, this is a good way to promote my channel. Guys, check out Atheist Republic. especially because
I put the link in the video description here. You can go and check out Atheist Republic, and definitely I'd love to come to your channel and maybe we can talk about Christianity and
Harris, can you come on Atheist Republic as well? Because I think like me and you have the best discussions. Like I think like I think me and you, because you challenge me better than anybody else when it comes to me revisiting my ideas. Like I think like I enjoy our discussions a lot, and I miss our discussions. So.
Are you sure Susanna's not going to be mad?
Okay, so I don't know. Sometimes Susanna is very forgiving even after.
Oh right. I don't even
think
to believe this.
Wait, upset because of what? Because of the criticism that she had on you?
Oh no, I agree with that criticism to the point. Look.
Susanna is really intelligent, but we agree on most things. That's why.
Yeah, I know. We can agree and we can disagree as well. That's not the point. The point is like what certain things can people do strategically or not, and taking the focus away. You know how you were talking about like, not taking the focus away, Islamophobia. You would rather not take the focus away. But look, but that thing, the crowd that we're dealing with is so dishonest and deceitful, either by choice or they're just born that way. They're like, even the jokes that were made at the expense of Hakikatu and Islam, they didn't even get those ones, and they were actually claiming victory over them too. So that's the mob. That's the mob. Yeah, sorry.
Numan case, is this the thing that you were talking about, Haris? You want to answer this? So, but Daniel Hikachu is mocking the death of Lars Vilks. Haris did not do that.
No, I know. Let's not.
That is not okay. That's not a fair defense, because you can just compare yourself to something so disgusting that Daniel does. Like I can't just be like not get criticized for what I do just because somebody else does something more horrible.
I totally agree with that. So Susanna's point is intellectually honest, and it's a well-principled position. So let's not strawman her. And I'm not even saying that to her that, hey, you know what? And even that's not what I'm saying either. That, hey, look, that's what they do, so I'm allowed to do that. I'm not saying that either. What I'm saying is that strategically, what we should do and what we shouldn't do is like these people, like Sabur Ahmed, for example. Like these guys are hypocrites, and he's like, thank you, Susanna, for standing by the right thing. And then the people underneath are like, yeah, ha, ha, ha. Harris is being dissed by his own atheist community, blah. And I know that. In a grand scheme of things, you're like, well, yeah, we disagree with each other. That's perfectly fine. But there's so many other ways to express that, because strategically, that's just not a good move. That's just my point. I mean, even if you dislike something, I would not say that. And Armin would know, and Ghalib, and I didn't say it to any of my so-called allies that, hey, look, this is how we're going to come out. This is how we're going to react. But these guys are doing that. They unleashed it. There were literally thousands of trolls that came to my video and they disliked the video, and they were, we won, we won. And I'm not indicating any of my people.
They are chanting victory slogans for nothing. This guy was totally floored.
But they would do the same thing even if Daniel just came and farted the entire time. They would still do that. So who cares?
I get that. I'm saying no, but there's a difference on when someone who's actually. So why they do that? They do that so other people don't debate them. Muhammad Hijab's debate with, I think it was with Cosmic Skeptic or with David Wood, either one of the two. Have a look, 1 million plus views, 200 comments, because they take that very seriously. This is like the mental game that they're playing. But then when your own folks will come out and just try to take a principled position, just to say that, hey, you know what? This is my principled position. I'm all high and mighty. Again, not saying that with honest crowd. I think that criticism would be welcomed. I still welcome it in a way I don't
think we should like decide what's right and wrong based on what they do. You know what I mean? I think again, it's a principled position where you're taking, but in practicality, it actually doesn't work. I don't think it's a public way I should be talking about any more about this, because again, they take clips out of that, and I kind of like us when we are like, if you make a video and you're critical of me, for example,
when it's coming from a position of honesty, when it's coming from a position of honesty, when these guys are going to use that as a propaganda and they're going to throw that in your faces, that's maybe I don't know.
Here's the thing. In fact, I think that helps you and it helps everybody, because the more they talk about us, even if it's negative, the more they're introducing people to us.
That's a victory for us. That's a victory for us.
Well, look, I get that, but I'm just saying that in a war situation, I don't know. I'm more of a front foot soldier than, like I want to match them. Like I just want to go with them, and I want to. I believe in that. They troll you.
The more they try to take a dump on you, the more it backfires. The more the more Muslims are going to be like, who is this Haris Sultan that they all seem to be talking about? And the more they come, and maybe initially, let's say for every 100, one of them that come to your channel to be like, Haris, you lost. Let's say 10 of them stay. No, I know it doesn't bother you. But let's say 10 of them continue staying to just keep bothering you, and then there's going to be one person that after 5 years of staying there to just tell you how you were humiliated, at some point it's going to be like, I came to your channel 5 years ago to tell you how stupid you are, and now I'm an ex-Muslim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That happens every day.
But very quickly, this is exactly the dishonesty I'm talking about. Can you highlight the Naveed Afzal's comment?
Yeah. But
no, highlight it. Please highlight it. What I want, this guy comes from our Urdu channel, and he actually tells us there is no sex slavery in Islam. There's no wife beating in Islam. There is no child marriages in Islam. But look, this is the dishonesty we're talking about. So
Naveed Afzal, even though Daniel thinks that they're all real, amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Naveed,
about.
You're such a hypocrite. You
Liars.
are such a hypocrite. You are a liar.
Trying to set
You're
up a debate.
an embarrassment. God damn.
Liars. My point. This is the point I'm trying to make. We're dealing with the most dishonest and ugly crowd. They would tell you that there is no sex slavery, wife beating, and these kind of things, atrocious things, child marriages in Islam. Because they belong to a clan, they will just stand by it. But hang on. But we, on the other hand, are trying so hard to show that no, we are so different from you that we will even shit on our own people if we disagree with them.
We're not trying so hard for. No. Haris, you misunderstood me. Because we're not doing that because for their sake. We're doing that because we criticize whatever we disagree with.
Yeah, but exactly. But I'm just saying, in a war situation, this is not a good strategy. That's what I'm saying. It's not a good way to do it.
I think
we should move on.
I don't think I think more people need to see criticism as not shooting your own soldiers. I think more people need to normalize criticism. I think people need to realize you could be friends with people that you are significantly disagreeing with. Criticizing your friends, in fact, criticizing your friends is not a friendly fire. It's not a friendly fire because it's not a fire at all.
No, it ends up that way. I'm telling you.
Okay. Let's move on. Julia Blister is saying we want to see Susanna and Armin versus Haris and Nuria. So
there is no verses in that sense. I think we agree with everything.
I think he meant it in a kind of a funny way.
Yeah.
We want to have Nuria on our show one day.
Yeah, I also have to have her on my show as well. I did not.
Yeah.
So then Noman K is saying every YouTuber, ex-Muslim YouTuber has a different superpower. Haris is Iron Man. Ghalib is Hulk. Hulk is the strongest that there is. Armin is Winter Soldier. Armin is Winter Soldier. Susanna is Captain America, and Captain America Civil War. And this is.
No, Susanna
Hulk was not there in the Captain America Civil War.
Yeah, I think he was out with. No, hang on, wasn't he in Civil War? No,
not in Civil War. Hulk was on Planet Hulk at that time.
Harris, if you're talking about strategy and stuff, one thing that these people want to portray us as is like we're all like.
talking. I mean, let it go, because again, I'm saying this is dishonest.
Okay, I'm also going to answer here to Mr. Naveed Afzal. Mr. Naveed Afzal, I think you are more eager that this Amar Haq would debate with me. First of all, this guy is, I don't consider him to be a worthy opponent. He has, I don't know what he's done. He's hiding his subscribers even. And I told you to tell this guy to email me. Debates don't happen like this, that you want me to create a StreamYard link and I'll talk to him. No, it wouldn't happen like that. This guy has to formally send me an email that he wants to debate with me. And you are thinking that I'll make a StreamYard link and you would come there, and you are more eager that this guy would debate with me, but I don't think he's eager about that. I don't think he wants to do that.
No,
and secondly, get me an opponent that has some weight. That if I'll go into a debate, I'll rather want to kill an elephant rather than a mouse. So I don't want to go with this kind of people who do not have even Muslims listening to them. So get me someone who is worthy of my time. I don't want to waste my time with these kind of.
Isn't he the same guy who was saying that Hamza's den or whatever? Like, I'll go a debate and I share the screen.
So if you get Hamza's den, Haris and I would be more than willing to debate with them. But if you want to get these nobodies, we are not interested. We don't want. It has
shown. This is the evidence of that. Can you show my screen? So I've been calling out Sabur Ahmed because I want to talk to you about your dirty tactics. I'm like, let's talk about Sharia. Yeah. I want to hear from these guys defending sex slavery, defending child marriages, wife beating, etc. I want it from these guys, because these guys like Naveed Afzal, who deny that these things exist, to us they say they don't exist, but then they want to see. I want these people to see it from their own Muslims guys' mouths. So this guy Sabur Ahmed doesn't want to debate it. Look what he says. Let me zoom in. He says, A puss and H puss have the collective IQ of a goldfish. We have bigger fish to fry. Like who? Who have you to? Which are you going to talk with? Sam Harris? Are you going to talk with Richard Dawkins? Who are you going to talk to? No, you've got less subscribers than me. You've got less following than me. I am a step up for you. And if you guys think that you won the debate, come on, embarrass me every day. Come on, embarrass me. But they won't, because they know that Sabur Ahmed wants to give lecture to the world on evolution. But he doesn't want to be defending child marriages. Imagine him giving a lecture at Harvard University or Oxford University.
Honestly, none of this discussion is about, I get so bored so fast when we're not discussing ideas and we're talking about who has the IQ of a goldfish and who's who. It just gets so personal so fast.
No, that's the whole game. That's the whole game that they have. And I want to talk,
but I don't want to participate in that game. I want to participate in telling people why these ideas are wrong, why these ideas are correct.
Exactly.
And Sharia. That's the interest. Yeah, I mean,
let's talk about Sharia, Sabur. But he won't. My point.
But the trick is that they want to drag you in. They want to give, for example, send me a personal insult, and the trick is it's a bait to me to respond to that personal insult and then insult them personally. I'm just gonna be just go back to criticizing their ideas instead. You know what I mean? I just want to step.
Yeah. So look again. It's a principled position. But
it's not principle.
What?
It's just boring. It's not just. It's not about principle. I'm not trying to, guys. I'm not trying to be like, I'm so high and mighty. I'm so moral. I don't take part in these pathetic, insulting personal attacks and shit. No, it's not that. It's not that I'm a high and mighty and moral. It's just it's just not. I mean, it's not that interesting. Who cares if they're good people or bad people? I mean, sometimes you get angry and stuff, but at the end of the day, we should keep going back to telling people how illogical these positions are, and it's so easy, by the way, to show that.
Okay. So Dag is there. I think he has.
Naveed Afzal, this is the reason why people use the word taqiyya for guys like you. You oppose sex slavery, you oppose everything, but here you are saying, we want our guy one who defended sex slavery. So he successfully defended sex slavery, wife beating. There you go. That's why we say you guys. Well, I don't actually use the word taqiyya. I don't, because I take you.
Yeah, I don't use it either.
I take it on your face value. I go, okay, so if you're opposing sex slavery, I believe you. I believe you that this is your interpretation.
I think we are getting a little bit off here, Haris.
Right.
I think, So Kunal Puri is saying, I would stand with Haris anytime, no matter what he says, because I one thing I know for the fact
I mean, it's not gonna like that.
Never justify sex slavery, violence, homophobia at least. So he's saying I would always stand with Haris because he would never justify sex slavery, violence, or homophobia.
And guys, not gonna like it.
Guys, that sounds like a beginning of a cult. Yeah, exactly. I would stand with Haris no matter what. That is cultish behavior. Like you should, Harris, you should shut these down. Like when people say like Armin, whatever you say, I trust.
No,
I always
think
shut that down.
you're getting a little bit jealous here,
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want, if you're starting a cult, I will get jealous of your cult.
Where is it?
Okay.
Don't diss my cult members. Don't diss my cult members.
Dag is there. Hi, Dag. How are you?
Starting criticism.
Hi, good to see Armin.
Yeah.
Hey.
So you are the rock star of this movement.
I don't think you would say that.
Armin is the rock star of this whole atheism movement. How do you take this? Because everyone thinks that after Dawkins, what Dawkins is to the intellectual people, Armin is to in the internet. So do you think your idea should be more in front and your faith should be less in front? Because this cult,
we are not getting what we're trying to say here.
What I am trying to say is when we talk about cultish behavior, so normally what happens in any movement, some people become, the figureheads of that movement who come to the forefront. For example, in case Richard Dawkins, everyone takes Richard Dawkins' name and puts him as in a high pedestal. Although there are many other people in this movement. Similarly, when we see in the internet, the name which comes is of.
All right, I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So what responsibility do you see on you because of this thing happening?
I try to shut that. I sometimes get that people tell me like, Armin, I trust you more than anybody. I believe what you say, and I always try to shut that down immediately. I'm gonna the moment that I'm trying to show you how everybody could be wrong, you could be skeptical. Like I'm constantly I highlight them and I attack them live on air whenever I see a comment like that. If I notice it, I tell them like I'm constantly promoting skepticism with you, and now you're telling me that you're gonna accept everything I say. Like what the hell? Like it's self-contradictory. One thing I try to do is every time I notice I change my opinion about something, I try to highlight that to show that I don't trust myself with being right about things. One thing that I keep telling people is like I know for a fact that I'm right now holding beliefs that are completely untrue. I don't know which beliefs of mine are incorrect, but I know for a fact that some of my beliefs are completely wrong right now. I just don't know which ones. So if you want to accept everything I say, just know that there's certain things that I'm going to say that is not going to be true, and you're just going to accept them because you're not thinking critically. I am promoting. Go on.
Sorry. If you're finished, so I'm just going to speak for Kunal as well. So I think I know because you see things very either it's rational, irrational, and you go by that to the dig of it. But sometimes you miss the sentiment part of that. So what Kunal was basically saying, and I don't think I've ever spoken with Kunal on my show, but what Kunal was basically saying, he was saying that I agree, and you could say it for lack of better terms, but he was basically saying that because Harris's position on sex slavery, blah, 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 in that context, because we were talking about that, this is why I support what Harris would do. But yes, but if Harris, for example, started saying something like, it's okay for captives to be treated inhumanely or something.
Those are easy. No, but those are easy, Harris, even for smaller positions. Let's say, for example, I take a position that I'm against sex slavery, and Daniel Hayraju takes a position that he's for sex slavery. Okay, so you as a viewer say like, okay, I'm gonna be against everything Daniel Hayraju says, and for everything Harris Sultan says or Armin says on this discussion.
But I don't think that's what he's saying. Yeah, but that's not.
So what is he saying? No, then he needs to frame it better, because there are going to be there are places for even Harris. There are places which I haven't got to my review of your debate. There are going to be places in that debate that I think like you were wrong and Daniel was right, even though most of the time you were correct and he was wrong. I'm going to get to places where I think like actually he was correct and you were wrong. Yeah, I'm not going to be like, no, I'm going to agree with Harris all the time just because Harris has most of the.
Look, if you're doing a thorough debate, if you're doing a thorough analysis, that's fine. But this guy just made one little comment. He can't thoroughly talk about everything that he dislikes.
I don't kind of
maybe, but it is.
I don't think.
Maybe I don't know what he was. If he meant something else, then he didn't frame it.
But I'm just saying that
Okay, I'm not making it about him. I'm not making it about him. But let's think about people in general. Too many people think in black and white. Too many people think that if I agree with this one person, I'm on his side, and I'm going to agree with other things he said. And you say, like, if, for example, if Harris says something that somebody, like, if I disagree with Harris on something, people think like, oh, I must be against Harris. I must disagree with everything he says just because I openly said I disagree with him. Like, people are just thinking binary, thinking black and white. They go from 0 to 100, and there's no gray area. Like, that's the problem a lot of people have with their ways of thinking. They take teams. They like, oh, I'm on this team, so I'm going to support whatever this team says. Oh, I'm against that team, so I'm going to be against everything.
But it's practical. No, but there's practicality involved in that.
Tribalism.
No, but tribalism is useful too in a lot of aspects. Tribalism. I know I'm a globalist, but even globalism is a form of tribalism as well. But it works in certain fashions, and this is what I was saying for practical reasons, like in a war situation. Yeah, you might disagree with your war fellow soldier 49% of the time, or maybe 51% of the time, but you're on the same team, so you gotta be in that moment. You gotta be together.
That's a recipe for not standing for what is right because you want to be on the side of your team.
But it depends what situation it is. Like if you're just sitting.
That mentality is dangerous, Paris. That mentality makes you not always. That mentality makes. Okay, I'm not trying to win wars. I think we're on the side of trying to promote the truth, not winning wars against people that we don't like.
So it's not a truth versus falsehood war? It's an intellectual warfare. It's an ideological warfare.
It seems like it's more about defeating enemies rather than just always standing for truth.
Defeating an enemy which is false. And spreading falsehoods and not true.
But it's not that binary. Sometimes the people you consider your enemy are saying actually something that is true. And sometimes but that doesn't mean sometimes the people that you consider friends are saying something that is false.
Got your point. But that doesn't mean that you start making statements in favor of your enemies, knowing that the enemy is going to come.
It's not in favor of your enemies. You're just pointing out that they're saying something that is correct.
I think I'll moderate here. I think Haris Ahmed, this is getting too much. I would say we should stop here. Dag is just where did my question go?
Can I ask a few more questions to Armin?
Yeah, you can ask. You ask one more, and we are just going to end it very soon. Just let me read the super chats. Dag, please let me read the super chats because I'm missing a couple of them.
Sure.
Julia Blister is saying, if Muslims say Daniel won the debate, then they are admitting that Islam lost the debate. Yeah, exactly. And Kunal Puri is saying skepticism works when we are fighting against rational, logical crowd who are not justifying violence, casteism, and homophobia. I think this
wrong. Also makes skepticism works all the time.
Okay. And Aziz Murani is saying, Mr. Naveed uncle, you don't have a PhD. Reading Quran is just a comic book. They are bringing this cosmic book in Iran and your favorite Saudi Arabia. Thanks. And Naveed is repeatedly asking me, Ghalib, do you have a PhD? Are you a scholar? Naveed, did I ever say that I have a PhD, and did I ever say that I am a scholar? You should have some sense and use your brain. I did not ever say anything stupid and anything that I am not. Secondly, you are too eager that Ghalib should debate some nobody, and that nobody previously told an atheist that they wouldn't let a debate that he had with that guy be put on that atheist channel because they don't want to promote his channel. So how can I promote someone's channel? This guy, Amir Haq, he told he's hiding his subscribers, and what is his, how many subscribers he has. If he had even 5,000, he would, make his subscribers public. So what they did is they had a debate with Numan Alam, and when Numan, he put this video on his channel. But when Numan asked him that he should also put that video on Numan's own channel, so these guys told him, no, we don't want to give any publicity to you, so we wouldn't let you put this debate on your channel. Because they wanted to edit the debate or whatever they wanted to do. So now these guys expect me that I would give them some publicity. So this does not happen like that. I don't want to give any publicity to these hypocrite and this kind of pathetic people too. So my answer to them is the same that they gave to
I think they got your answer already. I think they understood it. Okay.
So that's the thing. Then Kunal,
I need to respond to this. This is so dumb. Okay. Look at this comment. The moment Harris starts justifying violence, homophobia, casteism, I would reject him right away. That is what I'm saying. Well, that is really stupid because that is a very low bar. That is what that's what it takes for you to actually call somebody.
You're nitpicking.
I am nitpicking.
Okay.
That's what I do.
We should.
You're nitpicking.
Armin,
that is a very low bar. That's a very low bar. That's below the sea level.
No, it's not. No, it's not because you're nitpicking. See, when you do that, it seems like you just, like this is why I call you chronic rationalist because you just say it literally everything a word say, and you don't.
I see that as a compliment. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know. No, I do mean that as a compliment. And in some situations, no, it's not a good one. It's like when you get captured by Taliban, you'll be like, but you shouldn't really. I speak for non-violence, so you should treat me according to that. They'll be like, no, I know you would get it that no, they would cut you. Yeah,
I
know
why
that.
I'm your side. That's why you're my friend. That's why I consider you on my, an ally. But I wouldn't. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to point out your mistakes.
No, it's not about that. I'm not saying they're mistakes. I'm just saying that look at a little bit more strategically, just a little bit more strategically about everything.
I am.
Yeah. No.
Well, let's have that discussion.
Okay.
Let's have that.
Okay, let's end this here. Armin, thank you very much. You give us some time, and hopefully we would do things like that again. And there are a lot of things that we can. I think we need to connect more, and the audience needs to see what the greater global atheist movement feels about certain things that are happening in the Islamic world and the Western world as well. And hopefully
and in India.
we are going to impact, especially also India as well, and we are going to have an impact on the history, and maybe somewhere in some footnote at least our names maybe would be written somewhere. And we are not doing it for personal reasons. Mostly we are doing it to make the world a better place, and our goal is the same. So thank you very much. You want to say anything in the end?
Iblis bless all of you.
Iblis bless all of you. Haris, you want
I said science Hafiz. Yeah, I'm more interested in our chat afterwards.
Okay.
And guys, if you guys want to come roast me and tell me why I'm wrong about everything, come head over to the Atheist Republic channel and subscribe to Atheist Republic. We do have around 3 or 4 Q&As every month, so you get to tell me why I'm wrong about everything.
Okay, sure. You can. I have gave the link to Atheist Republic is in description of this video, so you can click on it and go subscribe. You are going to see some amazing content. Also, you can go to Armin's Atheist Republic Patreon to see the blasphemous art that they are creating, and it's beautiful. And
Kunal in the live chat has a lot of things to say about. He's very wrong about everything he's saying, and he's making a lot of assumptions. So Kunal, come to Atheist Republic so I could school you about how wrong you are about everything you're saying.
Okay. Dag, thank you very much. We are going to end here. Okay, hopefully we are going to talk. Okay. Then see you soon again. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.